also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time. But even as we win on the battlefield, we're fighting on another front. We're fighting on the battle for truth. The truth is that we were brutally attacked on October 7th. The truth is that we have fought a just war by just means on 7 fronts. The truth is that from Gaza to Yemen to Iran, we have hit our enemies harder than they've been ever hit before. But the truth is also this: we've been vilified and falsely accused of genocide at the very moment when, according to John Spencer, head of urban warfare studies at West Point and perhaps the world's greatest expert on urban warfare, he said Israel applied more measures to prevent civilian casualties than any military in the history of urban warfare. That is the truth. Radical voices on the left spread lies about genocide. Radical voices on the right demand that Jews take DNA tests. Both are wrong, both are dangerous, and both must be confronted. Because this is not just a war for security, it's a war for truth. The truth is that the Jewish people have lived in our ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, for 3,500 years. The truth is that David set our capital, King David set our capital in Jerusalem 3,000 years ago. The truth is that although we represent only 0.2%, 1/5% of the world's population, the Jewish contribution to...
Yeah, I'm glad that shit cut off prematurely, because fuck him. Now, I've been doing a little bit of research about this Netanyahu dude, and he's a warmongering, bloodthirsty, scumbag piece of shit, right? And you can't trust none of the shit that he says, right? He is a scumbag. And even Google's on some bullshit. I'm gonna debunk piece by piece shit he says, right? Now he goes on to say that some scholar says that they've been trying to take peaceful measures of not being, I guess, bloodthirsty, but that's bullshit. And the videos that these random soldiers that they got, they be putting up shooting unarmed Palestinian kids and all types of shit, they don't help it out, right? I don't never see him go on TV and reprimand or speak against that. So that leads me to believe if you don't speak against it, that you're with it, right? Even if it's not at your command, you're not saying nothing to the discretion of your discretion. So it leads me to believe like he liked that type of shit. Not only that, this scumbag motherfucker is talking about they've taken measures, and we have leading scholars of whatever the fuck to say that they've taken extreme measures not to accrue casualties during war. Now, I'll be the first to say that whatever the fuck the Palestinians, Hamas did by shooting a rocket and killing a whole bunch of people in Tel Aviv on the 7th, that was wrong. I don't know if it happened. Let's just go on to the theories that it did happen, right? Not because he said it, but because every news circuit around the world reported that it happened, so I'll give them credence to that. It did happen. They was dead wrong. Whatever the fuck the reason is, but we not gonna front like this motherfucker hasn't okayed 60,000 Palestinians murdered, right? Not only that, they've denied food to Palestinians. during the war, causing starvation, causing babies to die, women to die, and elderly people to die. So he ain't out the woods, right? This guy's a scumbag. I wouldn't trust this motherfucker far as I could throw him. Not only that, he's actually like applauded the violence. He's actually said despicable things about reducing Palestine to rubble, and that he didn't care. People asked him, or a reporter asked him about like the unintended victims of the war casualty, right? Innocent women and children. And he said that he wanted to obliterate Palestinians off the planet. Now, I'm loosely paraphrasing it, but it was something along those lines. That doesn't make you a good guy. That makes you a scumbag, actually. Not only that, he goes on to say that the Jewish people have been there in that Holy Land for 3,500 years. But that ain't true. Israel, as we know it, was actually given a sovereign piece of land in 1946 or 1947-ish. And that's only been in the last, let's say roughly about 80, 90 years. Math is a little bit off, but it ain't no 3,500 years. And the people that were there 3,500 years ago, like King David, they're not your ancestors. You're Polish. Stop lying. See, it's shit like this that gets under my skin, because they doing the same thing that the white folks did here, right? Calling themselves American. Well, technically, you're not. You're a British, Dutch, and whatever the fuck European descent, right? That came through Ellis Island or was a settler. Motherfuckers aren't actually technically Americans, just like those people over there technically wouldn't be Jewish, even though they practice the faith. I give them that. Maybe you could say that you're a convert because you practice Judaism, but that's just that. You're just a Jewish convert. You're not actually an indigenous person to the faith. You're not what those people who used to call themselves Hebrew Israelites. That's not you. You know what I'm saying? This nigga's from Poland. Now, it says he was born in Tel Aviv in 1949 after the founding of the state of Israel, right? So I give him that. But your peoples, they wasn't born there. It says right here, his family history. His father, Benzion Netanyahu, was born Benzion Milokowski in Warsaw. I don't know where that's at. That's probably in Europe somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we're going to Google check that shit. Where is Warsaw? I was right. Warsaw is the capital of the largest city of Poland, situated in the east central part of the country along the Vistula River. So his peoples is from Europe. He's European by genetics. You're not Israeli. I mean, I guess you'd be Israeli now, but you're not those people in the Bible that are Israelites. Those ain't you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'd like to start that argument, but I think I've done in several other videos, namely why Jewish people were white. And there's another video. I don't know if you watch my videos, you saw it. If you haven't, go through the archives and find it. But yeah, I go into great detail of why these people are actually not from Israel. They're not the people that's spoken in the Bible, the Jews. And I think I've mentioned and stated my position with research, so you can research my fact check me, that these people are nothing but invaders, and they're people that they're literally we'll call Middle Eastern colonizers, for lack of better terms, right? I think I did another video about how the Palestinians actually were given the names by the Greeks, and Palestine loosely means people of Israel. So by definition, the people that are Palestinian actually are the real Israelis. If they don't want them to know that, or they don't want the world to know that, and it would make more sense. They're persecuting them unjustly. Now, whether Hamas or them niggas in Palestine are freedom fighters, I don't know. Once again, what I do know is that this motherfucker's a bloodthirsty, bloodlusting, creep. And the fact that he's going on here talking about people requesting that Jewish people get DNA tests, bro, that's to determine what the fuck you really are. Just like here, they got Native American reservations that's recognized by the federal government. By the way, recognized by the government don't mean shit. A lot of people will be like, oh, they're recognized by the government. Yeah, the same government that killed Martin Luther King, but I'll digress. They won't take DNA tests because it'll come out, I think it did a few years ago, that most of those people on the reservation have European DNA and Siberian, Eastern Europe DNA. These people that are on the reservation, most of them ain't even descendants of the red natives. Fuck the black skinned indigenous people of America. They're not even the people of the descendants of the red natives. So it's the same thing with this motherfucker. You're not a real Jew. You practice the faith. You were born in Tel Aviv. And the only reason that plot of land was actually picked out because it aligns with the narrative of the Bible. You know, King David, Bethlehem, Jerusalem, which up until Trump was president the first time, the capital was Tel Aviv, not Jerusalem. I guess I don't know how the fuck Trump was able to change it, but once again, they was given the patch of land as a sovereign country by the United Nations in America. So, yeah, maybe that's how. But yeah, that's not even a real fucking the place they speak of in the Bible. While that may or may not be the real place that they speak of in the Bible, I know that motherfucker ain't from there. And being born there don't mean shit. Like I told an Australian woman that follows my podcast. She's like, I'm Australian, mate. No, just because you was born there don't make you Australian. That makes you an Australian national. Technically, you're a descendant of British people, hence your accent. Which was weird as fuck because she's Greek. So then there's that. In any event, if y'all like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, especially like it so I'm in the algorithm. But if you feel so inclined, click the link so that you can support the machine by getting you a t-shirt, hoodie, hat, whatever the fuck. And I think I got a video somewhere in my archives showing the merch. If not, I'm probably gonna make one in the near future. But yeah, do your best to support if you'd like to see more frequent content. If you don't, fuck you and fuck your mother.